Ever thought why employers are not calling you back for a job interview? It is found that most of the job seekers do the same mistake. They blend themselves like other job seekers. And that makes the job for an employer more difficult. If the employer does not have anything to remember you, then you really need to think about this. You cannot be the average candidate out there. You need to be the standout candidate in front of your employer. Well, in this video, I'm going to share 7 techniques that will help you to become the standout candidate in front of the employer. This is Saqib Qazi from Viosa Learning, and let's get to the video. To be that standout candidate, you need to start preparing so that you create the right impression in front of the employer. And that starts well before the actual interview. So let's not waste time and get into these 7 pointers or techniques for becoming the standout candidate. The first thing is to create a professional cover letter and a resume. A resume is different from a CV. CV is a much more detailed document which is either submitted to a university for an admission or for purposes where a lot of details are required. But a resume is a maximum 1 or a 2-page document. It is something that summarizes your experiences, your skill sets, and about you as a person in a single document, which is between 450 characters to 600 characters. Cover letter is a very important document which actually translates your intent to being in the right place. What is the importance of having a professional resume? It is the first impression that you create in front of the employer. The resume has to be something that tells you about your qualifications, your skill sets, and most importantly, the keywords. I'll take you through all the 3. First is your qualification. A summary of your highest qualification is very important for the employer to shortlist you in comparison to other candidates. Second is your skill sets. It is very important when you are a fresher and trying to apply for a job. When you don't have experience to show on your job, it is very important to show all the skills and your level of expertise that you have in your resume highlighted properly so that it is able to attract attention from the employer. The third is the keywords that you use in your resume. What is the importance of keywords? Nowadays, majority of the Fortune 500 companies use ATS, which is called as Application Tracking System, wherein before even the human resource manager takes your resume in the hand, it is shortlisted, or I would say discarded by a system. That means there has to be right keywords wherein the system is able to pick up your resume and not get discarded. Now, I'll tell you the importance of a cover letter. Most of the candidates, when they apply for a job, don't even create a cover letter because they don't realize how important it is. The resume is actually a document which summarizes your qualifications, your skills, and the right keywords, as I mentioned, but the cover letter is very, very customized for the company that you're applying to. It helps the employer to match your suitability to the role that they have a vacancy for. If the employer gets impressed and understands that whatever you have as skills is summarized properly, they will be able to shortlist you and your chances of calling for the interview go up. That was point 1. In the second point, we'll talk about the research that you need to do for the right job. What do you mean by research? This means that you have to really go out and Google or search or read or talk to people from the industry or the sector where you're applying for the job. Why is it important? When you face an interview or you write your resume, it is very important to write down what you know and your skill set match to what the sector or the industry requires. It is very important to know the sector in detail so that you are aware that whatever requirement comes out, you are able to fit into that requirement. It's a very important aspect, and a lot of people neglect and create a very generic resume wherein they're not keeping or putting in the sector information. Make sure that you customize your resume with sector information so that it has higher chances of getting selected. That was point number 2. Now, in point 3, we will discuss about making a good first impression. What does it mean? This means that you have created the impression by sending the resume and applying for the job. But then in person or nowadays online, when you are actually in front of the interviewer, what are the few things that you can do to make the right impression? The most important thing is how you groom yourself. Well groomed, the way you choose your wardrobe is something that even before you speak, the employer will create an impression about you by just looking at you. It shows the seriousness that you carry for the applied job. It is very important that you appear in a certain way which suits that environment or that sector of job that you're applying. Second is, you have to speak the language that is understandable by the employer. It requires you to maybe brush up your communication skills. The way you talk to your employer is very important because the language is something that will help you to interact on a daily basis and you will be judged on that. Point number 4 is to be interested, engaged, and be positive. How do you do that? Being positive means carrying a good smile on your face. The moment you approach the interviewer, make sure that you're smiling and greet the person well. Being interested means whenever there is a conversation, maintain eye contact with the interviewer. Looking elsewhere or looking down or on the mobile phone is not looked up as a nice way of communication. Being engaged means whenever there is a question in your mind, be interactive, ask, talk, so that you got the opportunity to ask your employer, make the best of it. Point number 5 is to ask interesting questions and provide creative solutions. This is a very important point because it helps you to showcase your technical skills. Asking interesting questions about the company, about what they are offering, and what is the role or what is the vision for you in the company will help you to give the impression to the employer that you are looking forward to remain in the company in the long run. Creative solutions is where you will be able to showcase your technical skills. I'm sure every candidate who comes will answer in a different way, but your answer will help you to stand out when they review your resume or your candidature for selections later on. Point number 6 is to create your professional brand on social media. It means to create an online presence. Not only when you apply for a job, uploading a resume on the job portals is not enough. You need to create your presence on platforms where the employers, the HR managers can actually go and view your profile. Definitely do not forget to mention this in your resume as well that you're submitting. That will help your HR managers to check out what all skills you carry, what all people have you worked with, and there can be a lot of places where you can ask for reviews, recommendations, which the HR managers can actually go and check. This will create credibility for you when you are being selected for the right job. Point number 7 is to master the art of following up. Most of the candidates neglect this point. After you have faced the interview, people just wait for the HR managers or the company or your employer to call you back. Most of the people don't even attempt to check with the managers or the responsible person to know whether you have been shortlisted or no. It is very important to actually keep a track of the interviews that you've given so that you know that you're able to follow up and check your status on a timely basis. Of course, you need to be smart enough to not irritate the other person as well and lose your chances of getting selected. So guys, these were the 7 points that are covered to be that standout candidate in front of your employer. If you follow these points, your chances of getting a job goes drastically up. Apply this and see it for yourself. If you liked what you saw, please hit the like button. And if you like to share it to others, please do share it with your friends and family. It might be really useful for someone who's applying for a job. You can also subscribe to our channel to get similar contents in the future.